I'm going to do an update on something that we've nicknamed Project Donald, because Donald is right next to me, and Donald is a shedding sheep that doesn't shed properly. She's featured in a few videos, and today she's getting a makeover because we're going to remove the excess wool that she's built up over the last 2.5 years. A little bit of a backstory. Her mum was a fantastic shedder. Dropped down to a very, very short wool and did was absolutely lovely. Her dad, he was a little bit marginal. He was a station bred ram that I purchased. He had a problem with his testicle, and he was a bit fluffy on his back as a 3-year-old. And because of his testicle, he was removed from the flock, from the breeding pool. But he left me with a few ewes. This is actually not one of them. This is another ewe that I bought in, and we were having a look at the shedding. Just getting sidetracked, but you got to be careful not to pull the wool off, because you can see here it's very pink, and if the wool came off too quickly before it's really ready, this ewe would end up very sunburnt. Made that mistake, but it's the same thing as when you shear sheep. You've got to be very careful, and that's something we need to be aware of with Donald here. And this ewe's got quite long wool. We had another ewe which was much shorter in the wool. It was only about that long, and I just sort of touched that ewe and it all fell out. Where this one's, it's still, I've got to put a reasonable bit of force, and it's still quite attached, but it's starting to have those break points. Okay, so this will come off probably in the next couple of weeks. It's the beginning of January 2025, so I would like that to be gone ideally, but that is going to go. She is going to shed, so that ewe is going to fully shed. Whereas Donald here isn't. But if we look at Donald, just get down here and try not to be run over. See the legs, run the back end, right down the side. She is shed beautifully. That's what her mum used to shed like. Can you get out of my way, please? And then under this big tuft of wool here, we lift up. There's some that has shed in the past, but hasn't shed this year yet. And it is starting to go. If I get in here, it's actually got a break to it. It is going to fall out. And it produces these big dreadlocks. If I go over here, these big long dreadlocks, where it's sort of matted together. Now her lambs do shed, and they shed normally quite early. Last year's lamb shed very early. It was a lovely lamb, but this is a bit of a throwback in there of some shedding genetics that not all of it comes off. Now I'm going to hit it with the shearing comb today. We're going to take that wool off and see what she looks like without it, because I've given up on the chance of it actually all falling out. It's been an interesting little bit of an experiment. I can't sell her as a shedding sheep. I don't have any mates with woolly sheep that needs an extra one at the moment, or anyone swapping over who she could slot in, because she does really good lambs. Get in here, see. So there's the long wool there. That's 2.5 years of growth. And there's about a year, I believe. I'm pretty sure that came off last year, right up. It would make sense. Here we go. Right, time for your haircut. Time for your haircut. And no more wool on her. I just did it with my hand shear, my battery powered hand shearer, standing up. I left a little bit on over the top to avoid that sunburn. I'm not a shearer, but she's looking pretty good. She was wriggly, and it's really weird because she acts like a shedding sheep under here, where I just touch it and the wool flakes off. Hey Donald, you'll probably be leaving, but at least now you'll be a bit more comfortable in the hot sun, and also you won't get sunburnt because I've left a bit of length on. Good girl. It's a bit different, isn't it? It really was getting too long. It was a sort of becoming an animal health issue with that much wool on her back, wasn't it? Though she didn't seem to pant in any more than any other sheep. She didn't pant and puff in the hot sun. She didn't seem too bothered, but I think she'll be much happier now. Hey. Her temperament isn't ideal, but she does grow beautiful lambs. And they shed early. Goes back to grandma who, well, back to their grandma, to this one's mum, who just shed absolutely lovely.
Pellets.
No, we should be fine. Hey girls, we're all done. Your checking is done. You've got my last bit of wool.